What's going on, guys? I'm going to show you 3 superior dividend investments or dividend yielding investments that beat out all of these dividend ETFs, not only performance-wise, but also right now in these market conditions, much higher dividend yields as well. I'm talking about 4, 5, or even coming close to 6% dividend yields. And those are real estate investment trusts or REITs. Now, I did do a video about REITs a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago, but I only went over one, which was Realty Income Corp, or ticker symbol O, which is probably the most popular one. But there's 2 more that I want to go over, and I think all 3 of them are primed for some amazing buying opportunities. Not financial advice. This is purely my opinion, and this video is for entertainment and education purposes only. But let's dive right in. For those of you that don't know what REITs are, right here, the definition's right here. They're real estate investment trust. It's a company that owns, operates, and finances income-generating real estate. So you want to get into the real estate side of things, but maybe you don't have enough money for a mortgage or something like that. A REIT is very similar to a stock where you can hop on your brokerage account, and there's tons of REITs that only cost maybe $10, $20, $30, $40, or $50. And then you own a part of a real estate company. Now, let's jump back really quick to the dividend ETFs that I had. Here are 5 dividend ETFs that, in my opinion, are giving some pretty solid returns. This is their current dividend yield. And then below we have their 4-year averages. I mean, making here are the averages right here, making a little over 3% or making right around 3%. That's pretty good in today's market. The SPY only gives about 1.5%, and the Dow Jones is similar to that, maybe a little bit higher. But once you get above 3%, those are some pretty nice dividend yields in today's market. Now, before we go over the 3 REITs, we need to understand how they work, and that is through a triple net lease. This is how they make their money, which I think is pretty cool. So essentially, you got a store owner. So pick any store, maybe like a Walgreens or a 7-Eleven. Walgreens will sell its property to the leasing company, to Realty Income or these other companies. And then essentially that company will lease it back to them. But here's the catch. The owner, now the tenant, is responsible for paying property taxes, building insurance, maintenance, all of that stuff. So the REIT can charge a very low lease agreement, and then the business owner has working capital, whether it be to start another business in a different location, hire more employees, buy more equipment, whatever it might be. So it's a really cool contract between the 2 companies. But now let's jump over to Realty Income Corporation. You've probably heard of this before. Again, it's probably the most popular one. And you could see right here, its current dividend is a little over 4%. That is really good, at least in my books. And you got to look at their track record. They've had an amazing track record. If we go over to dividend history, you can see they've been paying out dividends almost consistently all the way since 1994. So there's no doubt here that they're going to continue to pay out dividends and slowly increase over time. And that's why this has been such a popular REIT. It has done so well over the past, and it has beat the market over all these years. Now, you could jump on to their website and understand better what's under the hood, what's actually going on in this REIT. They have over 11,000 commercial properties, over 98% of occupancy, and they're in 70 different industries. So they are very well diverse. And then if you look at their top clients, we are talking about Walgreens, 7-Eleven, Dollar General, Dollar Tree, FedEx. You've heard of all of these companies. So they're not really buying too much of these small mom and pop shops. They're all companies that you have probably heard of. And these top 20 clients make up 42% of their portfolio. So I really don't see Walgreens or 7-Eleven or Dollar General missing their monthly payments to this REIT. So that's ticker symbol O. We have two more to go over now, and then we're going to compare them to all of those dividend ETFs. But the next one is Store Capital Corporation. This one, even though it's been beaten up over the past year and then even year to date, it's not looking too pretty, down 19%. But right now it is primed for almost a 6% dividend yield, 5.6%. And it's actually a pretty new REIT. If we look at its dividend history, you can see they were only established back in 2015, but ever since they've been paying out solid dividends and increasing every single year. And in fact, this is the only REIT that Warren Buffett owns. So I'm just some guy on YouTube. Warren Buffett definitely has better knowledge than I do when it comes to this stuff. So if he thinks it's a good choice for his portfolio, then hey, I'm thinking the same way. And that is why it is sitting in one of my IRAs. But if we look at their corporate profile, they also have a pretty decent breakdown, almost 3,000 investment property locations. You can see that they have 573 customers in 49 different states, and their occupancy is 99.5%. You can check on their website and dig into it a little bit more to learn more about them. But let's move on to number 3, and that is National Retail Properties, ticker symbol NNN, which I think is pretty clever that they were able to get ticker symbol NNN because that is what triple net lease is, NNN. So nice ticker play. I like that. But if we check out their dividend, they're almost at 5%. And if we jump over to their dividend history, how have they been doing? Let's go to Max, and just like ticker symbol O, actually even before ticker symbol O, all the way back to 1993, they've been consistently paying out quarterly dividends for the past 29 years and increasing every single year, or just about every single year. That is including the financial crisis, COVID, the dot-com bubble. Nothing has stopped them from continuing to pay out dividends to their investors. And if you jump over to their website, honestly, I like their website the best. I really like this infographic page. You can see over 99% occupancy. They have over 3,000 properties, 370 plus tenants in 48 states. And then here are their top tenants. And you could see we got a whole bunch of companies that you have probably seen before. And these top tenants alone make up a healthy amount of their portfolio. And I think this is pretty cool where you can actually click on states and see exactly what is owned in each state. So New York, there's 38 properties. I don't blame them. New York's too expensive anyways. Let's take a look at some random middle state. 2 properties. I mean, there's really not much there. 27 properties. So it's pretty cool how you can mess around with their site and really see where all of their portfolio is made up of. A lot of properties in North Carolina, decent amount of properties in South Carolina. Florida's got a ton. What about Texas? Texas has a lot. That's not surprising because Texas, there's no property taxes. So that's 17% of their portfolio. But I think it's very cool how their website is laid out and how you can really see where everything is. So if we jump back to Google Sheets, let's now put in our REITs. So you can see here are the 3 REITs. Here are 5 dividend ETFs. And if we look at the average, this past year, the dividend ETFs are hovering closer to the lower end of 3. And over the past 4 years, we're closer, but still not above 4%. Then if we look at the REITs, you can see this year, they're averaging almost 5%. You actually have Store that is over 5%. That's Warren Buffett's REIT. And then the other 2, you got NNN, which is National Retail Properties, and then ticker symbol O. Both of them are sitting in the 4s. And then if we look at the average, over the past 4 years, they're averaging almost 4.5%. And here they are respectively. But now there's a catch. And the big catch to REITs compared to dividend ETFs, you get the luxury of qualified dividends. And for those of you that don't know what qualified dividends are, they are this preferred tax bracket where you're not paying as much in taxes with these dividends. You could see the ranges from 0 to 23.8%. Even if you're bringing in $1 million a year in dividends, you're not going to be paying top dollar for them like your ordinary income tax, which could be as high as 38% as I'm recording this. Instead, you're going to be getting that sweet 23.8%. But when it comes to REITs, the majority of REITs are taxed as ordinary income. So whatever your ordinary income tax bracket is, if you're paying 35%, you're going to be paying 35% on your REITs. So that could max out at 37%, which will return back to 39.6 in 2026. So that's going to cut into a lot of your profits. So what's my suggestion? Well, I said it earlier on in the video. Hold your REITs in retirement accounts, whether it be an IRA, 401k, or a Roth IRA. You will not have to pay taxes on these dividends that you're getting paid monthly or quarterly until it's time for you to actually pull it out. And if you're in some kind of Roth vehicle, whether that be a Roth IRA or a Roth 401k, you will never have to pay taxes on those dividends. So there you have it, guys. Those are 3 investments that are better than your average dividend ETFs. We got STORE, O, NNNN. They are all REITs. If you liked this video, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and check out all my other videos. As always, guys, I will see you in the next one.